Hello, hello. What's up? How's it going? I'm back for another week of astrology, and mainly I'll be talking about the new moon coming up. It's going to be in Virgo in just a couple days because I'm recording this at night, and it will be on the 22nd Pacific and on the 23rd Eastern time. So let's see. I'm gonna pull up my chart to share. Okay, so I've got the chart on today's chart for today. Let's see. All right, so the moon is in Leo, but the sun's still in Leo. It's like the end of Leo season coming up here, so it's like we're feeling it. Starting to feel fall coming. My neighbor downstairs is already decorating for Halloween. So we're all definitely feeling the fall coming. And I don't want to even mention the fact that the place that I work for is already selling Halloween stuff. I'm like, take it all back, please. Take it all back until mid-September. I know. I'm probably just um, being conservative here. But yeah, so we're feeling the last days of summer, and it's not that it entirely goes into fall as soon as Virgo season starts, but that's really when we start feeling it. Because Virgo season is about the harvest. And that's why Virgo is holding the wheat. She holds the wheat for us because she's about harvest and ceremony and agriculture, plant medicine. So, so yeah, we've got a couple of days here where the moon is in Leo and it feels like it's going to come together in Leo, but it really doesn't. It comes together at 0 degrees Virgo. So, we today I've spent most of the day inside, so I don't really know if it has been kind of loud out there with the moon and Leo. But tomorrow I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna find out tomorrow what that moon and Leo is gonna be all about. Because tomorrow I'll be going to work. But tomorrow, the moon passes by Mercury in Leo, which still hasn't come out of the shadow. Still haven't come out of the shadow, not for a couple of days now, not till the 24th, I believe. That's when Mercury will be finally free flowing. So we're still kind of going over some of those things that came up during the Mercury retrograde. I'm still having a hard time speaking. It's fine though. Um, we'll just do the best we can, right? And let's see what else. What else is going on tomorrow? There isn't really any major moves happening. Not until the sun goes into Virgo. But tomorrow, it's like the last day of Leo season. And I hope you Leos had fun for your birthdays. I know that my little Leo had a fun birthday. So Yeah. But the main attraction really is coming when the sun moves into Virgo and that moon cozies on up for a new moon in Virgo at 0 degrees. Let's see if I can get it closer here. All right, 0 degrees together. It'll be more like that. There we go. So, and I know it's not showy. Is it not showing? Well, it's okay. I can just talk about it anyways. There's a yod that's happening at this new moon and in conjunct to Pluto in Aquarius and to this conjunction between Saturn and Neptune in Aries. And let me talk a little bit about what this new moon is calling for. So, this new moon is really calling for the seed of what is the next, what is the next step for your sacred work? What's the next seed that needs to be planted for the sacred work that you do? Or maybe you don't know yet, and maybe something will be coming to you about what kind of sacred work that you want to start dedicating yourself to, because that's what Virgo is really about. And it's about plant medicine and sacred work. It's about work in general, but and we don't want to not do work because we don't think it's sacred. And that's not the point here. We want to make sure that what we've been assigned to do in this lifetime, we get our hands into it. It's always going to be hands-on when it comes to Virgo. And 0 degrees Virgo, it's like pure essence of Virgo. And so, what kind of sacred work is calling to you right now? Because it's connected to Pluto and Neptune and Saturn and this really tight, it's really like it's supernatural, right? It's not necessarily in the real yet because this seed that's being planted about your sacred work is probably going to come as an idea. And these are the thoughts that we're having, the mind that's coming back online from that Mercury retrograde. It's like, you know, I've gone over some stuff and been thinking about things. Maybe you want to dedicate yourself to having a healthier body. And that's very Virgo too. Healthy mind, healthy body. And what else? And it's a good time, actually. This new moon is a good time for ceremony because when it comes to the harvest, it's always a good idea to have a ceremony to honor the harvest because something's dying at harvest, right? Something dies so that you can live. And so that's why it's always a good idea to think about what you can honor. What can you honor that dies so that you can live? And that's one of the deeper points of Virgo because fall, we come into the season of fall and the leaves start turning and you know that they're going to fall soon. They're going to fall off of that tree and death will be more in our face. And how can we honor this process? Yeah. Virgo also holds within it this archetype and this beautiful story of the Spider Woman. It's a Navajo story, and she is the weaver of the universe, the Spider Woman. And she taught the Navajo how to weave for beauty. It's also for usefulness, but it's also for beauty. And that's one of the main um, lessons that might be coming up. Just look for it. Spider Woman is a pattern recognizer also, because the web that she weaves is patterns in a circle. It's like what we have here in the middle, right? It's like we've got this woven pattern in the middle between all these planets, and it means something. It's a language that we understand. Astrologers understand it, speak it, and as a moment in time that's been woven so that we can learn something. The very and the last aspect to the Spider Woman archetype that is really important is passing down knowledge and passing down wisdom from generation to generation. So there's something deeper to think about here because this yod is considered the finger of God and in this archetype, who is God? You know, who who made everything. And everybody's belief system has a beautiful story for who made everything. And it's like it's a good time to honor that, honor the ancestors um, that brought knowledge down to you. They kept passing knowledge down, and so it could come to you, right? And to make a promise to pass something down that you know, and you may not know what that is yet, but if you make an intention to become aware of it, it'll show itself to you. And I think that's very important for this new moon is to think about, a ceremony is sometimes a complicated way of just saying like, how are you going to honor? What are you going to honor? What kind of respect do you put out there? You know, and ultimately, all of that comes down to your service. What kind of service you bring to the world? Mhm. not for your ego, but to know that the continuation of life happens because we all pass down knowledge. We pass down genetics. Yeah, I don't want to get too lost. Try to keep this a little bit shorter. So yeah, this new moon is very powerful. Mm, and it's life changing through intention, I believe. I believe that you have to bring intention to this new moon because the next lunations, the next lunar phases will be eclipses. So this is a moment in time where the yod, God's finger, points to the sun and the moon together and says, how are you going to bring this into a bigger context? What is your daily life contributing to the world? You might also be feeling this call to get more healthy also. Is Virgo, physical health, and this new moon is a powerful one. And with the South Node also in Virgo, there might be a call for giving something up for your health, right? And, if you're listening, I think you know for yourself what that is. We all know what it is that we have to give up in order to be more healthy, you know. Um, it'll be a very important day. It's really important to have intention for this new moon. And let's see. Let's go to the next day. Let's see. So yeah, the moon comes closer to the south node, and that intention, that seed that you planted, with the moon going by the south node, the next day will be like a moment of truth, right? You've promised to give up what, like cursing, right? Just choose that. And the next day, and that's when the moment of truth happens, right? After you've made that promise. It's like it remains to be seen. Will you be able to put it into practice? And the moon swinging by that south node is going to ask us that. Do you really mean it? Did you really mean it? That thing, that intention that you made during the new moon. It's like, yeah, you can have ceremony, promise to dedicate yourself to something, but it really comes down to actually doing it. Virgo is very much about actually doing the thing, hands on. And don't forget, if plant medicine is calling you, be mindful. Get a guide. Get a guide. Yeah. Yeah. And let's see. Man, Saturn is just about to go back into Pisces. Mm. So the 24th, Sunday, is the sun will be at 2 degrees Virgo and still making that yod. So the sun will still be in that yod, remaining there. So that's why it's very important to just stick to what it is that you decided you were going to dedicate yourself to. And you'll have some time and you'll have plenty of opportunities to make good on that promise, right? So that's how it works, right? This is a better time, possibly, than the whole New Year's resolution thing. Making some kind of, say promise or resolution. It's just possibly a better time of year because this fall might be kind of challenging. So you're gonna want to have something to focus on. Yeah, and that yod will be there for a little while. So if something doesn't call to you exactly on the new moon, it doesn't mean that it's not going to show up. It will probably still show up if you just have patience. Patience. And then we've got Monday, where the moon finally goes into Libra and is going to be bumping up with Mars in Libra. And so what does the moon in Libra wants? The moon in Libra wants to find some balance, you know. Virgo is the pattern recognizer. And then once Virgo recognizes that pattern and says, hey, we have to do something about this to balance it out, it gets handed over to Libra. And so the moon in Libra is going to be wanting to bring some balance to the situation. Um, yeah, and with Mars right there, those feelings might go back and forth a little bit. There might be all kinds of mm, trying to figure out what that balance is. But since Mars is dispositing that Neptune and Saturn up there in uh Aries, and the moon will swing by being that opposition and then go into touching with Mars and stuff. And so there's going to be communication about this um coming in. It will come in to you. So the balance, that's going to become the theme for a few days after the new moon. After the moon goes into Libra on, Monday, we'll be feeling more of a sense of balance. Or at least the balancing, energies will be there. We'll try, right? Yeah, I laugh because these formations. This very long and enduring formation between Uranus, Saturn and Neptune, and Pluto, and these sextiles. Uh, it's just going to be long, and it's going to change things uh, in a way to where it's going to be like a permanent change once we get there. So I don't want to talk too much about that because that could be for some other time. We're just getting started with these energies, actually. They're going to be just locked in for a little bit. It is what it is, right? It's a mini trine. Yeah. So, let's see. So, yes, okay. The moon in Libra next day, Tuesday. All right. Oh, it's nice. Things are getting more spread out down here. We don't have everything so together. That's the balancing thing. It's like you see more balance coming out. The moon in Libra on Tuesday, coming away from Mars. You probably feel less agitated. Hopefully, less and less agitated as the moon comes away from Mars. We're gonna have that feeling like we need to do something. And yes, maybe you need to do something. Maybe you just need to have some more patience. Because maybe patience is actually the balancing act, right? Mm, okay. Yeah, and this is at the end of the day on Tuesday. Okay. Mm, and oh, we got Venus here. Ooh, when did she go in? So she goes into Leo on Monday. Hmm. See, there's another sort of fiery thing. So Venus in Leo is going to be a little bit more about expressing, um, expressing like beauty or values. Definitely be more about relationships, but the your part in relationships, right? Leo is about you. Leo is about you. I mean, me. So, yeah, there we go. On Monday, Venus coming into Leo. Yeah. I'm just sitting with it for a second. Venus and Leo. Romance. Yeah. Venus and Leo is going to feel pretty good. Venus that was in Cancer was about family and very lunar energies. But Venus in Leo is going to be a lot more solar, bringing us back to that Sun in Virgo. And it's one of the reasons why I talked about Spider Woman. It's because there's very feminine energy being brought into the Sun in Virgo. It's already a feminine energy, but with Venus going to Leo and feeding that solar energy into the Sun, we've got a lot more creative energy, thinking about um, the patterns of the universe. To me, it's just studying more astrology. And this has been great practice for me, right? Just being able to talk about these energies. And so um, I'm really grateful for these planetary energies right now. And the way that they're just speaking to me. And I'm super grateful. So yes, the Venus going into Leo, it's gonna be nice. Yeah, and we've got a little bit of a switch here. We've got Venus in Leo, which is kind of a masculine energy, and we've got Mars in Libra, which is a feminine energy. So they're kind of talking to each other. Venus and Mars are going to be talking to each other all year because of that retrograde that they did together. So this is just part of that conversation. And relationships are going to be in focus. One of the things that I see that might be happening during these times, and it's not necessarily any specific alignment, but after all of those planets, all the personal planets went retrograde at the beginning of this year, some people got into relationships that were very karmic and they learned a lot of stuff, right? And so the Virgo energies might be bringing up some nitpickiness, some critical thoughts about whether it's you're not good enough or the other person isn't good enough. And these are all erroneous ways to look at relationships because a relationship just doesn't work out because it's not meant to be permanent. It's not because anybody's not good enough. And if you can start to see relationships that way, then you might be able to start healing from some different relationships. The trauma work is still coming up. You know, it never ends. It really never ends. So we'll always have these opportunities to shift the way that we see something and so that we can heal. And, the conversation that I see in these charts between Venus and Mars, sort of like putting themselves in each other's shoes, right? That's what it looks like to me. And just surrendering that hatred for the other because once you've walked in their shoes, it's like you can't really hate another person. You see what they've been through, and you just surrender to the different path that you're on from the other, right? And that might be something pretty important that comes up during this time. And it's a possibility for the rest of the year, through the rest of the year, through this fall and winter, to have these revelations about relationships. And if you don't get it now, the opportunity to get it later will come. Right? Let's see. Did I miss anything? Mm, no, I think that, I think that's good. Give it back to Tuesday because that's where I'm ending it. And yeah, hey, I really appreciate anybody who made it this far with me. I know it's like only, but it'll be like a 40 some minute video, but I really appreciate you sticking in there with me and hanging out and letting me talk a little bit of astrology with you. Yeah, it's fun. So let me stop sharing this. All right. All right. So I'll see you next week. Hopefully. Hopefully. Yeah. This is just a fun project for me. And again, thank you for sticking in there, hanging out. All right. See you next week.